$13 billion. That's the price of a single American aircraft carrier. 5,000 personnel on board, dozens of combat aircraft, the striking power of an entire nation, concentrated on one ship. And in 2026, as tensions with Iran reach their highest level in 20 years, this ultimate war machine refuses to approach a strait narrower than the distance between Paris and Versailles. This is not political caution. It's not an order from Washington. It's fear, calculated, justified. And in the next 10 minutes, you're going to understand exactly why. Let's start with geography, because in this story, geography is everything. The Strait of Hormuz is the world's choke point. Every day, about 20% of global oil passes through this narrow passage between Iran to the north and Oman to the south.
At its narrowest point, it's 33 kilometers wide. But the actual navigable lanes, the channels where large ships can safely operate, are barely 3 kilometers each. 3 kilometers, that's the width of a mid-sized city. For a Gerald R. Ford-class aircraft carrier, which is 337 meters long, entering that corridor is like trying to push an elephant through a subway tunnel. On one side, the Iranian coastline. On the other, Omani waters. And in the middle, you. Now let's look at the forces involved. Iran has spent 40 years turning that northern coastline into a fortress. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, has deployed a defensive architecture that U.S. military analysts now openly describe as a kill box, a zone of death. What that actually means, we'll get there, but first, let's understand the two main actors. On one side, the U.S. Navy. It currently operates multiple carrier strike groups in the region. A carrier strike group is an aircraft carrier surrounded by guided missile destroyers, a cruiser, 1 or 2 attack submarines, and a logistics support ship. A floating city capable of projecting devastating firepower thousands of miles away.
On the other side, Iran. A conventional navy that wouldn't stand a chance against the U.S. Navy in open battle, but an asymmetric force that every admiral respects and fears. That's the central paradox of this story. Now let's talk about what Iran has actually deployed in and around the strait. First pillar, anti-ship missiles. The Khalij Fars. In Persian, it means Persian Gulf. It's an anti-ship ballistic missile, a category of weapon only a few nations in the world have mastered. Its defining feature, it's specifically designed to hit moving targets at sea. It climbs high, then descends at hypersonic speed, and in the final seconds of flight, its guidance system locks on to its target. At that terminal velocity, a carrier crew has less than 30 seconds to react, 30 seconds between detection and potential impact. And Iran doesn't have just one, not 10, dozens, deployed on mobile launchers, scattered along the coastline, hidden in caves carved into the rock. But ballistic missiles are only the first layer. Second pillar, naval mines. Iran possesses one of the largest naval mine arsenals in the Middle East. Bottom mines, drifting mines, smart mines that activate only when they detect the acoustic signature of a large warship. In a 3-kilometer-wide shipping lane, it only takes a few hundred mines to turn the passage into a deadly lottery. Third pillar, drones. By 2026, Iran has massively accelerated its naval drone program. Semi-submersible vehicles, nearly invisible to radar, capable of carrying significant explosive payloads. The same technologies seen damaging commercial vessels in the Red Sea between 2023 and 2025, refined, miniaturized, mass-produced. A carrier can shoot down 1 drone, 10 drones, maybe 20, but against a swarm of 50 attacking simultaneously from multiple directions, close-in defense systems are pushed to their limits. Fourth pillar, fast attack craft. IRGC fast boats are a legend of asymmetric warfare. Lightweight, extremely fast vessels armed with missiles or torpedoes capable of operating in swarms. During the 2002 Millennium Challenge exercise, a retired U.S. general playing the role of Iran virtually sank 16 American warships in minutes using exactly this tactic. The Pentagon was so embarrassed by the outcome that it reset the simulation under new rules. Add it all together: ballistic missiles, mines, drone swarms, fast boats, and IRGC mini-submarines capable of operating in shallow waters where traditional sonar struggles to detect them. You get what U.S. strategists call an A2AD environment: anti-access area denial, a denial zone. In plain terms, Iran has turned the Strait of Hormuz into a trap, and sending an aircraft carrier into that trap would mean gambling $13 billion and 5,000 lives on a roll of the dice. No American admiral would take that risk. But here's the part many people don't realize. The United States has absolutely no need to enter the strait to strike Iran. An aircraft carrier positioned in the Arabian Sea, 400 kilometers off the Iranian coast, is out of range of most Iranian missiles. It's in international waters, it can maneuver freely, and from that position, it can strike virtually any point inside Iran. Here's how. The F-35C Lightning II, the carrier-based version of the U.S. stealth fighter, its stealth is so advanced that pilots describe the experience as being a ghost in enemy skies. Its low observable radar signature, reduced to something the size of a metal marble, allows it to penetrate Iranian air defenses before they even understand what's happening. With aerial refueling, its operational range extends well beyond 1,000 kilometers. Tehran is about 1,200 kilometers from the entrance to the strait. Fordo, the underground nuclear site buried in a mountain, within reach. Isfahan, within reach. IRGC missile bases, within reach. The entire country is targetable without a single U.S. ship entering the strait. And if aircraft aren't enough, there are Tomahawk cruise missiles, launched from destroyers and submerged submarines also positioned in the Arabian Sea. A Tomahawk flies at around 880 kilometers per hour, low and terrain-hugging to avoid radar detection. It can strike a specific window of a building from 2,500 kilometers away. Above all that, B-2 Spirit bombers, launching from Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean, or even from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, yes, directly from the United States, and capable of dropping GBU-57 bunker buster bombs, the only conventional weapons capable of destroying facilities buried 60 meters deep in rock. The strategic conclusion is unavoidable. Iran has spent decades and billions fortifying the Strait of Hormuz, and the United States has simply chosen not to play that game. This is the essence of standoff strategy. Strike from a distance, with precision, without ever offering a profitable target to the enemy. But let's understand the intent behind these moves. Why did Iran build this denial architecture? The answer isn't purely military, it's political. By controlling the strait, Iran holds a blade to the throat of the global economy. If oil stops flowing through Hormuz, global energy prices spike within hours. China, heavily dependent on Gulf imports, is directly affected. Europe, too. This isn't a strategy for battlefield victory, it's a strategy of economic deterrence. Iran's message to the United States is simple. You can strike us, but if you do, we close the strait, and the entire world pays the price. And the Americans have fully absorbed that message. Since the strikes of 2025 and the escalation in 2026, carriers haven't moved closer, they've moved farther away. The USS Abraham Lincoln and USS Gerald R. Ford now operate from even more cautious positions than before. Iran has even publicly claimed to have forced this withdrawal, a narrative of deterrence, not victory. That messaging is itself a weapon. It serves a dual purpose, reassuring the domestic population and signaling to regional allies that Iran can stand up to a superpower. And in this geopolitical landscape, don't forget the silent third actor, China. Beijing is watching this configuration with calculated interest.
Every dollar the United States spends maintaining a presence in the Gulf, every carrier tied down in the Arabian Sea, is a resource not watching the South China Sea. Iran's distraction fits neatly into Beijing's strategic priorities regarding Taiwan and the Spratly Islands. As of March 2026, for the first time since the Cold War, the U.S. Navy faces three simultaneous theaters of tension: the Persian Gulf, the South China Sea, and the Red Sea. Its resources are stretched, and its adversaries know it. So where does this lead? The current balance rests on a cold, fragile logic. The Americans can strike without approaching, and the Iranians can threaten without triggering total retaliation. Each side benefits from maintaining ambiguity. But this balance has breaking points. First, a strike that goes too far. If U.S. or Israeli attacks kill enough senior Iranian leadership or destroy civilian infrastructure beyond a symbolic threshold, Iran may decide that closing the strait, triggering global economic chaos, is its only credible response.
Second, miscalculation. An Iranian drone accidentally hits a U.S. civilian vessel. A fighter jet fires by mistake. In such a congested environment, with tense rules of engagement on both sides, an accident becomes statistically inevitable if tensions persist long enough. Third, technology changes the equation. The autonomous naval drones Iran is actively developing could soon operate beyond the strait, into the Arabian Sea, exactly where U.S. carriers operate. That extended reach would shrink the American safe zone, forcing carriers to move even farther back, increasing strike times and weakening deterrence clarity. What's unfolding in the Strait of Hormuz in 2026 is not just a confrontation between the United States and Iran, it's the opening act of a profound transformation in naval warfare. For the first time since World War II, the aircraft carrier, the ultimate symbol of American power, is being pushed back by asymmetrical weapons that no conventional technology can fully neutralize. The most powerful weapon ever built, choosing to stay at a distance. Not because it has been defeated, but because modern war has changed the rules, and the generals who fail to understand that lesson make mistakes their nations pay for over generations.